All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new episode of Une Sports. This is episode 91. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. You're joined with your host, Richie and Mike. What's going on, bro?
What's happening, baby? Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, or
You
post
know,
Thanksgiving, whenever you listen to that. You know, hope you did your Black Friday shopping. Hope you got
mm,
the 75-inch TV that you wanted,
yeah,
the standing desk that you wanted, the PC that you wanted.
it's usually the same. It's the same kind of things that people are buying usually. And yeah, this is episode 91, always available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Thank you, everyone who's tuned in. Again, happy Thanksgiving. And hope everyone is having a good time with their family. So, how was your week, Mike? Any? You start watching Penguin?
No, not yet. I still haven't. I was
Okay.
watching. I was finishing
You
Arcane.
you use the site?
No, not yet.
Should we talk
I
about
got it.
site on streaming?
I mean, it depends. I mean, they know. Review listenership knows.
But you should get on it. It's pretty good. I'm not sure if you planning on like starting soon. It's a pretty good show.
Because there's that,
I don't know how
and
you're gonna
then
rank it, but I think you're gonna like it at least. But I don't know how you're gonna rank it.
yeah, because there's that I want to watch, and then there's the new Dune TV show that's also on
Dune
HBO.
TV? What is that?
Dune,
Dune. Oh, Dune. Okay.
yeah, that's on Max as well. I don't even know if it started already, but I think it did. It should have,
Okay.
but I want to watch as well.
What else is out
But yeah,
there?
I was just watching
I'm
Arcane.
watching a show called From, but you don't need to get on it.
Dude, I see that pop up on my timeline, and everybody's talking about it, and that's when I
It's a
went to
great
the
concept.
that's when
It's
I
a
went to
great
the show.
concept,
That's when I went
and
to
I
the
felt
group
like,
chat.
was that?
That's when I went to the group chat and I asked, "Yo, what's the show about?" And
Yeah,
everybody's like, "Nobody knows."
you don't need to get on it. Like it's a great concept. Like I don't know the producer. I don't know if he's a great producer. I don't know. I don't want to disrespect nobody, but I felt like the concept is bigger than him. And he was not able to deliver on that concept.
I mean,
I
didn't they
felt like
say it's
if
like the
if
guy from
a better
Lost?
producer would have created a better show. There you go.
Okay. Didn't they say it's the guy that did Lost?
Lost?
Yeah,
What is
the
Lost?
the TV show from way back in the day.
I feel like I heard of Lost, but I
Yeah.
can't put a picture.
It was a very very popular TV show that everybody loved.
Lost.
But nobody loved nobody I think I think the general consensus on Lost was that it was a fantastic show, but the ending was absolutely garbage.
Well, that's the issue of that producer. Dun, 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 dun. He doesn't have no ending. He's not a finisher for sure if he was
Yeah.
playing soccer. Yeah, it's a great concept, but he did not deliver. Like after season two, he started like, start going down a little bit. Like it started getting confusing. I'm like, yeah, he doesn't know what he wants.
Mm,
He doesn't know where he wants to go with it. And
okay.
after season two, the way season two ended, first of all, season three should be the last season, but he should have. It should have. Basically, the show is about a group of people who are lost in the town, right? And they can't get out of the town. And then at night, there's some stuff that happens. In
Hmm.
case if you ever want to watch, I don't want to spoil it
Okay.
too much.
Okay.
But the concept is so great is that after season two, you can't drag it like only like what's this show called like, about the zombie? The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is probably one of the few shows that can drag it to season 100 if they want to. But not every show can do that. So you should season two should be like an indication of the ending of season. Like season two is gonna be ending. Like it should be popping right now in season three. And the fact that Boyd, which is the main character, had to go on TikTok and tell us to go watch 9 and 10. That's when I was like, yeah, the show's going down, bro. Like, y'all got Boyd doing TikTok promotion. Yeah, it's done. But yeah, like you should get on Penguin. You will like it.
Okay.
Uh, Cullen had he played a wolf great. The only thing that was confused me, I didn't know. I don't remember Penguin being on top at some point. Never.
Hmm. I mean, they gotta write a compelling
Of course,
story.
they gotta run the script.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, in today's episode, we will have three topics. Um, The first topic, we will be discussing the reactions of the Champions League, mostly Manchester City and the ongoing issues that they have, and we will also highlight other games. And I want to ask you a couple questions about your expectation of Amorim Ball.
Hmm.
Like, do you expect him to change a couple personnels today, even today or over the weekend? And also, how did you feel? Did it Were there certain things that you liked about the first game is against his push? Am I saying that right?
Ipswich, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Ipswich.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll let you pronounce it. And I wanted to also ask you about a question about the future of how point guards are gonna look like in the league in the NBA,
Hmm. In the future.
and a couple what's up with that, and then we end the show. I'll give you the privilege of choosing where you want to start today.
I mean, let's start with the reactions of the Champions League. It's on theme from our last podcast. When we were talking about the Giants falling as well. So
Yeah, you did,
then and
and
we were waiting for the stretch of games for Liverpool to see if they were
you
real or
remember we were talking
fake.
about, see how they
Yeah,
so far they're doing well, and then
if they
over the
were
weekend
real
they
or
have a
fake.
good test also.
Yep.
Let me give a quick results. And so on Tuesday, the games were AC Milan won their first game actually versus Slovan Bratislava. They won 3-2. Atletico Madrid destroyed Sparta Praha 6-0. Manchester City tied 3-3 and against Feyenoord, and that was the shocker because of how it ended. And we will talk about that also, Mike. Barcelona beat Brest 3-0. Bayern Munich beat Paris Saint-Germain, who went down with a red card 1-0. Dembele was red carded. So two yellows resulted in a red card. Inter Milan won against Leipzig 1-0. Young Boy lost against Atalanta, who will 6-1, who will face Real Madrid next. Coming up very hot, 6-1. Leverkusen beat Salzburg 5-0. Sporting lost again. Arsenal 5-1. A lot of high scoring goals, Mike. Looking at this round. Svena Zvezda, they beat Stuttgart 5-1 against Stuttgart's very, very, very inconsistent team this season. Girona lost against Sturm Graz 1-0. Aston Villa and Juventus, it was a tie 0-0. Benfica, they beat Monaco 3-2, who also were red carded. PSV Eindhoven, I'm not sure if you saw that ending, was crazy a little bit, Mike. 3-2 against Shakhtar. Liverpool, once again, 2-0 Real Madrid, and I know they were waiting for that victory for a long time, so they like it. So I saw it coming. Celtic tie against Club Brugge 1-1. Bologna lost against Lille 2-1. Dinamo Zagreb lost against Dortmund 2-0. Those were the quick bites for the Champions League. I'm sorry, 3-0. Dortmund won 3-0 against Dinamo Zagreb. But let's get into the Manchester City. Let me let you ask the question that you wanted to ask about their issue. Um, yep, floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a question towards you. Obviously, we spoke about it the last podcast whenever we recorded. It was a while ago, probably. I think that pod came out 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah,
And we spoke about these big teams in the Champions League specifically. We hadn't gotten there with Manchester City yet. That all these huge names in Europe in this new format, maybe whatever it is, they're just not performing well. PSG, Bayern Munich at the time was a little bit struggling. Well, not they weren't struggling because
they're not playing like they won
they have
against Paris Saint-Germain,
yeah
but they did not play well.
yeah they
So
haven't
you're right, they're
conceded.
struggling.
They haven't conceded in the Champions League, I think, or consecutive games or whatever it was.
Not in the Champions League, but
Yeah.
I want to say, is it 7 or 5? But after the Barcelona game, they tied up that defense a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you got PSG, Real Madrid, Manchester City, obviously.
Even AC Milan,
Yeah.
they won this round, but like they didn't have a good start. So
Yeah. So we were talking about these big names, that were struggling in Europe in this new format of the Champions League. And fast forward to now, Manchester City, 5 defeats in a row. Um, never happened in Pep Guardiola's career, supposedly. Um, 5 defeats in a row, a heavy defeat at Tottenham, 4-0, where they got completely destroyed and outclassed by just two players on the pitch, and Dejan Kulusevski and Son Heung-min.
You want to
For
hear a stat?
Yeah, go ahead.
Manchester City has conceded the same number of goals as Crystal Palace, who are 18th. So they conceded like 17 goals
Mm,
in the Premier League so far.
mm,
Like Liverpool, for example, they conceded 8.
mm.
City is already at
Yeah,
17. But yeah,
yeah,
carry on. Sorry.
yeah. And they go into this game versus what PSV Eindhoven. Was it PSV?
This game right now,
Yeah,
Feyenoord.
yeah, and the Feyenoord,
Yeah,
Feyenoord. Sorry, PSV.
they won. I think
Yeah,
PSV won, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
3-2.
Yeah, 3-2 against
Yeah,
Shakhtar. Yeah.
Malik Tillman and Ricardo Pepi.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so that they're leading 3-0, and it seems like it's going to be a very comfortable victory, and then you can see 3 goals in what, 15 minutes.
You want to hear another stat?
Um, mhm. Go ahead. Let me hear it.
City City are conceding 1.2 shots from counter attacks per game this year. It's like last year was like 0.5. So you could, if you're looking at most of the
Doubled it.
City conceding goals, it's just like a lot of counter attacks. But yeah, I'll
Yeah,
let
I
you.
mean, and again, and even you look at this game, uh, that's why I was like, I wanted to throw the question to you. What do you think is happening? Because the first goal is like, it's something out of nothing. Like you created the opportunity for the team. You get yourself. You made a terrible mistake. You look at Akanji. Akanji sees the ball and he sees the runner, and he doesn't even try to attack the ball. I understand you're in the penalty square, and you probably don't want to run full force to try to catch the ball, and you probably hit the player and then you concede a penalty. But dude, like you got to do better than that than just let the guy just run freely, catch the
Mm,
ball, and then score on you. And the second goal, it's about the same thing. Mistake in the midfield again, counterattack. Um, Poor positioning by the defenders. I don't know
yeah,
what's happening with Guardiola, for example. Like in this run, like he has been absolutely abysmal. I'm not gonna lie. Like you score banger goals, like your goal catalog is fucking is phenomenal. But
lack of
defensively,
concentration.
defensively speaking, like he's been abysmal
Yeah,
when we're talking about this run of form that Manchester City is on. In 6 games, 5 defeats, and 1 draw when you were leading 3-0
you want to
at
hear another stat?
at your house. Yeah. Let me hit me with the Snapple facts.
City first 14 games of the season saw them score 2.3 goals a game and concede 0.8 goals a game. This the reverse now in the last 5 matches. Now they're scoring 0.8 goals and then they're letting 2.3. So basically, it's logical. Like there's a lot of things they're not doing well. They're not scoring, so they have opportunity to steal. Like you saw Haaland score so many goals against Tottenham and also against Feyenoord, and they're still conceding a lot. So the floodgate is open, and they're missing some goals. So even them scoring 3 goals is not enough because they're gonna. From what I saw against Tottenham, the two Madison goal, right?
Mhm.
Goodingen was following Madison, right, and he stopped and asked Stones to tell him, but
Continue.
there's a issue there. Like he did not communicate that properly because he was still running after Madison, but when he realized he's not gonna catch up, last minute he's like, "Yo, Stones, you know, it's
Pick
not
up.
basketball. Like there's no like switch. Basically, Stone should have seen it, but I thought Stones was he was like, okay, Goodin's gonna get in the box, but last minute, oh wow, by the time he turned, pass is already there, fraction of seconds. It goes fast. And also, one thing I see that they're not doing also is they're not closing in quickly. Usually, Guardiola's team, when they even with Barcelona, when they lose the ball, they want to get it immediately. So they
Hmm.
press their team.
It's the
They're
gegen
closing.
pressing.
Yeah, so they're not doing that. So I saw a lot of lazy closed in versus Tottenham and even versus Feyenoord also when they were conceding those three goals in that span of time. Because like you said, you remember when I asked you like, is it a crisis? You're like, it was against Sporting when they lost against Sporting, and you said, nah, they were playing well, so I wouldn't say like it's a crisis. But when you're looking back at those many games, there's a lot of things they're not doing well that is their identity, and they're doing that for a longer period of time now. We saw that against the second half against Real Madrid when they crashed out because they stopped playing what they were playing, you know? Now they're doing this for a longer period of time. That's why I think it's fixable. Obviously, you're gonna need new players as well because playing with a thin squad like that with multiple games, you need more players. You need more reliable players, you know? So obviously I know they're gonna go to the transfer market. I'm not sure in January or over the summer they're gonna add new players. They're gonna need new players as well because you see like a guy like Goodogan, he he lost the ball a lot in certain situation. I don't know if he's usually. I don't think he's very physically fit to be playing that much. Because like he plays well, but at times it catch up. The game catches up to him.
Hmm.
There's so many
Um,
fixable things that I would call it crisis because it is a crisis because there's so many things they're not doing well. It is that's what crisis is when you stop doing what's usually positive for you and then now it's negative. Is it fixable? Yeah, I can see it's very fixable. That's why you were saying until you see the last game, you're not gonna scream like, "Hey, City didn't win this year."
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but so the question to you is like, what do you think is the issue? Like, outside of the injuries, like, is it a personnel issue? Like, are those guys just all right? It's a case like, these guys are too old now. Um, and then you
I think
probably, you have a lack of quality or a lack of pace. What is it? A lack of understanding of because
I think
I mean, one player can't just make that much of a difference, man. Rodri
yeah,
not being
Rodri.
in the team, Rodri
I'm gonna
not
make
being
a
in the
case
team.
too for that, but it's not just Rodri. To answer your question, I think there's like to me in 3 points. First point is what I said. When you look at the goals they're conceding, is because they're not doing certain things properly. Like literally, like Mike, no offense, defensively, that on corners or anything counterattacks, they're defending like Manchester United from Ten Hag. When you're like,
I said it. I said they look like a team that's coached by Ten Hag. Like when
yeah,
I
it's
was
like
looking at
they're
their
not
goals,
following
man.
players. They're being lazy. I'm gonna add that to my first point. Like they're not doing what they used to do positively, like close, like when I mentioned like closing in on players, like pressing them when they lose the ball. They're not doing well. So what that allows your opponents to have more time with the ball. And certain teams they have quality in their teams and they can hurt you in 2, 3 passes, counter attacks. Third point, I mean, sorry, second point. I think my second point is gonna be you said besides injuries, so I don't want to use injuries. I think my second point is Guardiola usually when he comes in the season, I don't think he knows exactly what his team is gonna look like.
Mm,
He always looks like he's confused. Oh, I'm gonna set my team and stuff like that. You see like a lot of Oscar Bob
mm-hmm,
preseason and then going to the season. You're not really sure um what his team's gonna look like. So the idea of what his team was, and there's certain players that are not playing to that level. Now it looks thin. It looks very thin. It looks like Doku, Savino. It looks like even though with adding those players, it's not enough. That's my second point. My third point would be, what can I say? Score, man. Like you guys gotta score. Like you can't just be like missing a lot and conceding. And we've seen so like I think I have another stat for you. Let me pull out my
Hit me,
phone.
hit me with it.
Let me put on my phone.
Yeah. What?
Manchester City have an XG of 8.15 in the last 4 games across all competition, but have found the net just 3 times. So they're going to a crisis where they're getting conceded a lot of goals and not scoring.
Yeah.
And you're not playing the way your identity is supposed to be playing. So yeah,
It sounds like the other bald man that got fired because Manchester United was creating chances, but a bunch of bums on that squad can't score, can't put the ball in the back of the net.
yeah.
But
So that's to answer your question.
yeah, I mean, it goes to a point of like frustration for Rich as well. Like, me and Rich, we spoke about this behind the scenes. Rich hasn't brought it up to the podcast, but he hates uh Phil Foden's positioning and the
Yeah.
City side. It's like, why isn't he not playing on the wing anymore? Like,
Why is Bernardo Silva playing on the wing and then Bernardo Silva should be playing in the middle? I don't care if he's playing bad this season, but that's his natural position. And Foden wants to come into the midfield and not do much. I'm not seeing much. Yeah.
so yeah, like, the team is like a team that they bought Haaland from Dortmund. Ever since they played for him, you see that the team is a team that they understand who they have on their team and they create opportunities for their striker and they're
Yeah.
trying to feed their striker. But now it gets to a point, it's like, all right, if Haaland isn't scoring, where are your goals coming from? And it came from, one season it was Gundogan,
Yeah. I was
Gundogan,
gonna say
like,
that came from Gundogan. He was scoring a lot. Yeah.
making these deep lying runs, finding himself in great position to score. Last season, Rodri contributed a
Yeah.
lot of goals, which
I
made him
think
win the
also
Ballon
Foden was
d'Or.
scoring too.
Yeah, Foden was their
Yeah.
second top scorer,
Yeah.
obviously. And this year, it's like you got Guardiola coming to save you, your left back. Like, so, these other guys, like, you got to start looking at yourselves and like, hey,
Otavio got a score.
you guys got to start contributing. Like, this
Yeah.
is it's the same situation. It's so eerily similar to what Ten Hag was going through because I said it when they played Tottenham. When I looked at the goals, like you said, um that what's
Manchester
his
City.
no 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 that what's his name, the number 10, Madison Matters,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
goals that Matters scored. It's like I was like, dude, this is so eerily similar. These guys are just not tracking runners. Like,
Exactly.
this is
Exactly.
so reminiscent of what the problem is at Manchester
You
United
could
is.
find out when you're not
Yeah,
tracking back. You could
yeah,
find out,
you
and
know
they
it,
find out.
so I wonder. I'm really curious to see what's happening. I know a lot of people are waiting in January. They're salivating at the thought of like, oh man, City. It's the end of the dynasty, and the supposedly the sentencing or the results of the hearing of their 115 charges for the FFP thing
Hmm.
is supposedly coming in January. Listen, man, Manchester City, they're gonna come out squeaky clean. They're gonna come out cleaner than clean. Like, there's nothing that's gonna happen to Manchester City. Like, stop salivating on the thought that City is gonna get deducted points or anything like that. Nothing is gonna happen to them. I don't even think they're probably even gonna get a fine, man. But so I'm curious to see what's going to happen in January if they're gonna go into the market and try to actually add some players, or if Pep is gonna ride this like, yo, this is my squad. I'm gonna scratch my head till I bleed and figure this thing out.
He
And
actually
figure this
apologized
out.
for that comment.
Yeah, he had to. When he said that, I was like, oh,
You wild, bro.
I don't know about all that, man. I don't know about all
He's a
that.
wild boy.
Yeah.
Aki said sometimes you get these periods in seasons where things don't go for you.
Mhm.
I think last season we had the same small period where we were not winning games and drawing instead, and it was tough. That's why I said like last season, they did have a rough path around November. I remember when they had like that epic game versus with Chelsea where it was like 4-4 or something like this.
Mhm.
They was not having a good period of the time. Kevin De Bruyne was also hurt, and Haaland was in and out of the lineup. I think he was like hurt as well. But in January, that's their time, man, when they usually like turn their motors and then they go in. So I don't like you said, I'm curious to see if he's gonna add another body. But if he doesn't, I think if everyone is healthy, it's still a dangerous side. And we're gonna see how
1,000%
they do over this weekend. How they are they gonna
respond.
go deeper in the crisis, or do they respond to their their ongoing issues,
Um,
Mike?
Before we move on,
Yeah.
what's going on with Ruben Diaz? Is he injured or like I don't understand like why he even lost his spot in the starting lineup really. Like
I have no idea.
and is
I
and
can't
is Kyle
answer.
Walker washed?
Um,
Is it time to move on?
See, that's the thing. You remember the time we thought Carvajal was washed, and then he did this season? I think with players moving up with age, I think they're not washed, but they're not gonna be able to be on, like they're not gonna be able to go consecutive good season. Kyle Walker might be having a bad season right now and come back next season and give you a beautiful season. But I don't know if he's washed, but I don't think he can be consistently be the best in that position every
Okay.
weekend again.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I just read this that he's out until after the international break, so he's not healthy
Okay.
for Ruben Diaz. So yeah, I guess if it's after international break, they're not gonna just like fill them in like that. So my next topic is not really like a big topic. It's just a question that like Bayern and Paris Saint-Germain, right? So P- Paris Saint-Germain lost at the Allianz Arena 1-0. Dembele had two yellow cards and it was red carded. Now these guys are finding themselves in the red zone, right? Um, Paris Saint-Germain is now 25th, and their record is one win, one draw, and three losses. Now, at the 25th position, they're out. If they get to the 24th position, they go to playoff. Well, guess who's 24, Mike?
Real Madrid.
Two wins, zero draws, three losses. They lost against Liverpool 2-0 in a must-win game. Now, Paris Saint-Germain. So they're moving on. They're gonna move on and face. See, let's see who they're gonna face in the championship. So the next team they're gonna face is South. Actually, not Leipzig. Salzburg.
Hmm. They don't have
They're
any
gonna
wins. They're 0 and 5.
Manchester City. What you say?
They're 0 and 5, right? Salzburg. RB Salzburg in the Champions League.
I want to say yeah. I want to say so. Like I think Young Boy and also Leipzig.
No, no, no. Actually, they
They're
won one
facing.
game.
They won one game.
Yeah.
Okay. So they will play Salzburg. Then after that, Manchester City, then Stuttgart, and that's it. So that's the. Do you think they're gonna make it to the playoffs with
Based
that
on the
with
based
those
on their
teams that
form,
I'm naming you right now? Stuttgart, Manchester City, and Salzburg.
I mean, it's not really up to them at this point, right? Is the whole thing as well. They're relying on other teams to.
Yeah, but can it still make? Because if you win those three games, you guarantee a playoff spot.
So what was it? It was Salzburg?
Salzburg, Manchester City, and Stuttgart.
No,
They're not making it.
I don't think so.
Now let me ask you a question: if they
Mhm.
don't make it, should they fire Luis Enrique? Because I want to tell you, I'm gonna ask you a question. He's been receiving a lot of critiques, and I
Mhm.
wanted to kind of bring light to the critiques that he's receiving, and then wanted to have your opinion on it. So you know, Luis Enrique, he's a wild boy. Like he likes. They call him the Timu version of Guardiola. No, in the sense of creating, but not fully succeeding in his creations.
Mhm.
He was like, I feel like he was. There was tough critiques for him on the Spain side because a lot of his players are now they got better now, and also he didn't have like he didn't play with a striker and stuff like that, so he was kind of building the team, and I feel like most of these players they took a jump now. Like he didn't have Yamal, he didn't have Nico Williams and stuff like that, guys that can make difference. Okay, so going back now, he kind of invents a lot when he's going to those games, like to those big games in the Champions League. So in his lineup, he played with two strikers. So Dembele on the right and
Barcola.
Barcola on the left. And sometimes Zayemi would swap a little bit with Dembele and or join them in the attack. And then the midfield is João Neves, Vitinha, and Luis. No, not Luis Enrique. Why is this name is is escaping me, Mike?
Oh, the left
Fabian
footer.
Ruiz. Fabian Ruiz,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
No. My question is, there was a clear chance what Dembele had, and also there's a clear chance of Zaire who completely missed because he was making a run in the box and um Fabian was find him. He tried to push too much power, so he completely missed it. And there was no one around him in the box. And then you're looking at what if a striker was playing for that team
Mm-hmm.
and had that opportunity and scored, could have saved them the a couple games that he lost, right? Now he doesn't play with Colomani at all, and Gonzalo Ramos just came back.
Came back from injury. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that if he doesn't make it, he's gonna get a lot of critiques that he could have played a striker that could have saved him a couple points that he could have grasped, and then he couldn't possibly lose his job in May or March or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. I think that is one thing that I feel like more often than not, well, especially at top clubs, not in like, not in like a club like, for example, Leicester, who fired Steve Cooper, and just hired Ruud van Nistelrooy. Shout outs to him. It's not like,
Oh yeah, that's the city.
sometimes it's a team that's out of form, but you're picking your best 11, right? And you put them in a certain structure, and they're not performing. But there are some times when you look at, like, for like you said, Luis Enrique not playing Colomwani, that they paid big money for. Gonzalo Ramos was injured, but it wasn't like he was going to use him anyways. Like, he has his tactics and he's going to stick to it.
Yeah.
He's been playing with this false nine, or these,
Sometimes he
you
play
know,
Asensio, sometimes he play
exactly.
Kangin Lee.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's the way that he wants to play. And you get, like, guys like Ten Hag as well, where they're like, yo, dude, like, you have to change the structure a bit. Like, like, these guys that they have these ideas, you don't understand them specifically, but they think that, hey, I'm the coach, I'm the manager, I'm going to do what I think is best. And I think that is going to work. But when we're looking from an outsider's perspective, we're like, hey, I don't really think it's logical to put Mazwari as a number 10.
Mm.
Why are you playing Dembele and Bradley Barcola as strikers? Why are you playing Asensio as a false striker? Why are you playing Kang and Lee in these advanced positions when you're playing against behemoths like Kim Min Jae and Upamecano, or whatever other defense that you're facing in Europe, when you have a guy that's 6'4", that can actually run, that could physically impose himself on the defense of the opposing sides, in Kolomwani or whatever. You could find a different structure to actually play, and figure out a way to play with him. So I feel like that leads to a lot of managers being fired sometimes. It's like, we know PSG is going to win League 1. And I know you said this before. These are fans imposing these expectations on the team,
Oh,
and
for a
the
Champions
team
League. Yeah.
and the team goes into Champions League and always underperforms because they're feeling the pressure. Dude, this is what you get paid for. This
Mm.
is why you're the richest club in France. Like, we know you're going to dominate the French Cup. Like, you're going to come in every game, and it doesn't matter who's going to play. You're always going to have the
They are
80,
saying that
80,
if you have
85%.
if you had that budget that you
Mhm.
had, why did you not go for the striker that you want instead of like just going strikerless every game because you don't have a striker that plays how you want, who can't fit your lineup because technically the two strikers he has don't fit his idea, right? Then why not just go for a striker? That's what they're saying. I'm not me.
Well,
Like
they're
in general,
saying that, but
yeah.
I mean, Rich, it's like, you already paid, 50 million
Colom,
for
no, for Gonzalo
Ramos.
Ramos,
For
and you
Ramos, you paid
pay
80. You paid 80 for
for
Colomani.
Colomani.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, this ain't did they pay 80 for I think
I'm
that's what
not sure. I can't.
I think it was 70 or 80 that they paid for Colomani.
I'm
So,
a fact tracker for
let's
this.
just put in a ballpark of that's 120 million euros. Let's just guesstimate 120 million euros sitting on your bench. Like, you can't just go out and be like, hey, it's PSG that's going to be coming knocking at the door, you're gonna fork out another $50 million. You're in a lawsuit with Mbappe to pay him lost wages already. Dude, it's not like, yeah, these guys have all the oil money in the world, but they still have to face like financial fair play in some type of way. Like you can't just go out and be like, hey, we're gonna add another striker and make this make this bench go even deeper where I have to leave some of these guys that are making 8
95
million,
million
eight
euros. That was the
90.
transfer fee.
There you go.
Euros,
So
yeah.
now you're pushing a guy that's probably making 8 to 9 million net annually, not even coming to match day. He's just
And they
chilling
also
at
they also bought Desiree Doué, and they don't really play him
yeah.
lately.
So
He also doesn't fit the system for now,
so I would say that with
or
that
can't
being
do the
said,
job. Yeah.
yeah, I would say with that being said, it's not as simple as like, why don't you just go and like you have to have some outbounds behave, you have inbounds. That's why there are all these rumors about Kolomwani being potentially
Linked to a
looking out
loan
for
to
a
Man
loan.
United.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's loan options coming in. It's going to be the same thing for Gonzalo Ramos. Their times are up in at PSG. Unless there's a new manager that comes in, we know these guys are not going to be playing for Luis Enrique. He doesn't rate them. He doesn't rate them in his system. He knows who he wants to play, and it's not going to be those guys. He's going to utilize them because he has to rotate the squad, but these aren't his guys. So it's not as simple as like, yo, we just going to keep buying and buying. Not everybody could be Chelsea. Chelsea bought these players, tied them up to 7, 9 year lifetime contracts, like Drake on minimum wages. That's why
What'd you
Drake
say?
is
Like
so
who?
like Drake.
He said lifetime contract
Yeah,
like
you
Drake.
know, like, yeah, man, we're gonna give you these $400 million. You're gonna sign a lifetime deal, and you're gonna make
You're
us
gonna throw your
trillions.
life away.
Yeah.
You're gonna be in the stage every day.
But yeah, man, it's not as simple, man. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I fear for him if he doesn't make the Champions League, like
Playoffs.
the
Because I don't
next
think he's gonna
round,
make the I don't think he's gonna make
the
the
knockout stages.
yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's actually it's not too far because like 10 points gets you to the knockout page right now, knockout stage right now. But
Mm.
like you said, the teams in knockout stage, they're gonna play as well. If they keep on winning, they're gonna keep on adding points. But let me give you Real Madrid's next three games.
Hmm.
Atalanta, and they have Salzburg. Man, Sam Salzburg got their hands in. God damn, yo. And they have Brest. How do you they make it? They make it to the playoffs?
Doable, but I mean, it's gonna have to depend on those
Doable.
last two
Two teams are
games.
doable.
Yeah.
Atalanta at home, at their house, it could be a tie as well. Yeah.
It's gonna depend on those last two
That
games,
knockout
but
stage is gonna be nasty if it stays like this. Like all the good teams are in the playoffs. I mean, I
yeah,
meant to say in playoffs, sorry.
and not and
Playoffs looks nasty right now. Like you got teams like Aston Villa, Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, City, AC
gonna be
Milan, Juventus.
gonna be a dog
They're
fight.
all in the um playoffs right now.
Gonna be a dog fight. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
we'll see.
Come January, you're gonna have more concrete. If they do bring in a player,
Who?
then if PSG brings in a player in January, that means Luis Enrique is gonna be there to stay. If
Okay.
they bring in a
But
striker.
I didn't see that they're talking about who like a play in January, but safe to say. And they also like the goalie had a good game overall, but he had like a little a bumper. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
And
So they were talking.
Donnarumma was good for one of those.
No, it wasn't him that was on
It
the
wasn't
goal.
him? Oh, okay,
No,
okay.
that's what they were talking about. They're like, wow, they kept Donnarumma out of the game to try it. I mean, the other goalie had a good game.
Okay.
Savinov, if I'm not mistaken, if that's his name. Sorry. All right. So let's move on to the last topic of the day. So I wanted to ask you a question, right? I was watching the Hornets game, that step back three that LaMelo Ball had that I shared
Hmm.
with you,
Hmm.
and I didn't like it.
I don't like it either.
And it got me thinking that day. It was like, damn, the NBA is gonna look like this for point guards in the next 15 years. You're gonna be fielded with those type of players. You might not see players like Westbrook anymore. I wanted to ask you a question. You have two prototypes, right? You have the prototype of I'm using Westbrook, but there's player before. I just want to be clear. Like there's player that resembles Westbrook that played the game before him, that
Mhm.
played that way. But I mean, I want to use him as a prototype, like early Westbrook of OKC. And on the other side, I'm using Steph Curry, shooter guy, right? What type of point guards do you want to see in the future? Do you want to see prototypes of Westbrooks or what prototypes of Curry? Now, one example of a prototype we still have in the league is Ja Morant. And do you want to call what's the guy that's dating Drea?
Jalen Green?
Is Jada Green considered as a point guard? Kind of.
Nah, so
No.
he's a
Okay,
two.
never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what type you want to see in the league in the future in the next 10 years? Who what kind of point guards you would want to see in the league in
I
the
mean a
majority?
little. I mean a little bit of both. I would say like it's
You
variety is
think it's gonna be
always.
both?
I mean, I think so. It depends on the it depends on the player. Everybody has their favorites. Like I could use two examples right now, right? You could look at the kid from Philly, TikToker extraordinaire,
It's cold
who
outside.
yeah, who
He's cold.
obviously who
Yeah.
obviously like, you can see flashes of Steph Curry in his game, like, when he's relocating and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like you could see like he plays solid fundamental basketball. He's not a big guard. He's 6'2", uh, and he shoots the ball well. He's explosive enough where he could attack the rim. And you got the kid from San Antonio. I think Kendall Johnson, for example, number 0. When you look at him, he's like, hey, this is a Westbrook regen. Like he literally played like the body
The
composition,
body. Yeah.
the way he plays and attacks the rim. Like you could see like he looks like Westbrook, but it's really gonna depend on players and who they emulate. You got guys that came into the league that said Paul George was their favorite player and Paul George is the GOAT. You got guys that says KD is the GOAT. You got guys that says like, yo, LeBron James is who I emulate.
Yeah.
And like, every player is different. I do think obviously there are going to be players that are going to look at LaMelo Ball and think it's like, hey man, I'm just going to go out there and have fun. It's like that's why one of the reasons why personally myself, I don't really rate LaMelo Ball. Like every player in the NBA, most players, I feel like 98% of players that are on an NBA roster are really good basketball players. All of these guys that most not all, most of these guys that get on an NBA court that are on these NBA rosters have the potential and the ability to be 20 point, 25 point per game scorers, in my opinion. Like they're really good at basketball. Um, when I look at LaMelo, it was one of the reasons why a lot of times, even though Donovan Mitchell is, making me shut up now, you know, I say like, these guys are volume scorers. You put the ball in their hand, they're gonna they're taking 30 shots a game, they're gonna score 30 points, bro. Like it's
Mm.
just math. They're really good at basketball. They could shoot the ball. But I also seen LaMelo Ball in 2 playing games not do anything whatsoever but be trash, absolute garbage. Like, did not show up for his team every single time. So during the regular season, that's all fun and games and it's nice. But when it comes to actually really compete at the highest level, when the games really matter, I haven't seen him done anything. So, like, I don't need to rate it at the moment. I would say every player, the young guys that's growing up right now, they need to look at everyone and see who's successful and who they want to emulate and what they really want to go for. Do you want to go for a guy like Tyrese Halliburton? Do you want to go a guy like Jalen Green, getting the bag on and off the court? Um, you know, because that's the thing, man. It's like, these guys are coming like, the kid from Philly, he's gonna get a bag. He's gonna
For
get
TikTok?
some sponsorship deal,
Yeah, he
one,
will. Yeah.
and he's gonna get a bag from Philly. Like he's just showing the qualities that makes a good NBA player. That's how Tyrese Maxey got a
Got it
bag.
back. Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton, off of one successful season, got a $250 million contract.
Mm, mm.
Didn't do anything. So it's really gonna depend on like, hey, once I get my opportunity, what do I want to show? And if you know that you could knock down the three and you could play freely, you're gonna
You
look
play like
at
that.
you're
Yeah.
gonna look at LaMelo Ball and be like, hey, this guy got 7 Lamborghinis in his driveway. Um,
Hmm.
he's getting paid. This is what I want to do. Like, it's not like every NBA player is playing to actually win championships.
Yeah,
A
no.
lot of
We know
them,
that. We know that.
exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of them is like, hey, this is a game I love. I can make a lot of money doing it.
I could change my life
Yeah.
and
So
my
I'm just
family's
gonna
life.
do that.
So
Yeah. But
yeah,
I would like, for me personally, I would like to see a blend of both.
a mixer. Yeah.
I love Westbrook when he was hot. Curry's still my GOAT. You know, I would love to see players like that. Like, I like seeing Trey Young play basketball. I like seeing Cam Johnson play basketball. John Morant is electric. You know, I just like, variety is always good for the league. It shouldn't be a homogeny of like, hey, we're gonna build 17 Steph Currys to put in 17 different teams.
Yeah. That was a good answer. So
How
that's what
about
I
you?
had.
How about you? What do you think? What would you like to see?
In majority, I would want
Yeah.
to see a prototypes of Westbrook. In majority.
Guy
I'm
that
not
does it
saying
all.
I don't want to see prototypes of Curry.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Curry is Curry. You
Yeah.
see, when Curry's
One of one.
shooting, Curry got aura when he's shooting.
One of one.
I'm
That's why
seeing a
James.
bunch of guys running, and it's just ugly, man. The step backs are ugly. I didn't like it. That's
That's
why
why
I'm not
James.
saying.
That's
I think Lamelo got some swagger in his game. I'm not. I like him. He's a little baller, but I'm just saying I don't want to see a lot of. See, that's the thing. When it gets ugly, I would rather see. I don't want to see ugly Curry prototypes.
because even Curry, man, when he's cold, it
It's
looks
ugly,
nasty.
bro.
It looks
I don't want
nasty.
to see that. I would rather see a guy take it to the rack and miss, but take it strong because that's not ugly. It's just like it's just the game. Like you attack the basket. But yeah, so
That's why Harden was like, nah. In my head, I'm number one because
he don't count. He's
we
like,
don't
yo,
count
we ain't
Steph.
gonna
We don't
count.
count Steph,
Yo, come on.
bro.
He's not from Earth.
We don't count
uh,
Steph, man.
yeah. So we can move actually to the last top. I mean, well, not last topic, to the last segment of the day. What's up with that? We haven't done that in a while, so we should get back to good habits since it's Thanksgiving. Um, let's see. Oh, actually, before we get to the what's up with that, I have one more question for you. What did you like about Amorim last weekend? I don't know if you did we discuss that?
No, we didn't.
No. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
let's quickly do that. A quick 5 minutes. What did you like about the new format, and what did you not like? And also, if you had personal changes,
Mhm.
who would it be?
Um, I mean, I liked it. Like,
And
it's
also,
so.
what would you want to see in their Europa game today?
Mm,
what do you like looking forward to see?
yeah. I liked it. I mean, I the only thing I would say, like, before I get to the entire positive, we spoke about it, is the fact that I don't think he understands the magnitude of what Manchester United is and how much money people make off
When they're bad, you said?
negative, yeah,
Yeah.
out of, like, like Manchester United being bad makes a lot of people a lot of money, like,
Mhm.
outside of Manchester United, right? So that's why there's so many pundits that are already talking about, like, played one game, the structure doesn't work. It doesn't work, people. It doesn't work. One game, one game. But the guy came in and he's like, "Yeah, you guys are complaining about identity. I'm gonna give this team an identity and principles." We know Louis van Gaal. Louis van Gaal stuck to his team shape.
His
He
guns.
never
Yeah.
he never changed. He never changed it. He stuck to his team shape. He's like, "Yo, man, you guys are gonna conform to what I want," and that's what I like about Amorim. He knows what system. He's been playing it for 5 years. He's been successful for 5 years with it. He's gonna play it. What I liked about the team is, like, on the first goal, you could see the directness, and that's what's gonna happen. And that's why I even spoke about Rashford is gonna be able to score a lot of goals if he's going to be the number 9 of that team. But, Amorim came out and says like, hey, he doesn't think that is the best.
He's not sure if that's the right position for him because he was lost over there.
Yeah. So, and we spoke about it when under Ten Hag as well. Like, Rashford was scoring a bunch of goals playing as a number 9, but somehow he doesn't want to play number 9. I'm like, dude, like, you're successful at it. What is the problem in just learning the position? But for today, what I'm expecting is the team is not fully healthy yet. I didn't like the Johnny Evans start as the left center back, but hey, we had to do what we had to do. So I'm expecting Licha to be back. The one part of the area of the pitch that I'm confused about is because we have Casemiro, we have Ugarte, we have Mainu, and we have Bruno Fernandes. Right now, he's opting to play Bruno Fernandes as the number 10 role, higher up the pitch. So far, in the one game that I've seen him play, absolutely abysmal, provided nothing. But it's not like Garnacho did anything in that area of the pitch as well, because unfortunately, they didn't see much of the ball because Ipswich dominated them.
Yeah, that's correct.
So right now, what I'm expecting to go into this game versus Bodo Glimt at home is I'm expecting to see a lot of intensity. I'm expecting these guys to maintain and dominate possession, which is what Amorim's team has been doing in Europe, and that's what he's demanding from his players. And outside of having a left wing back, Luke Shaw is not fit yet, even though he played, I think 25 minutes in the last game. He doesn't look fit yet. We'll see what happens. But in January, I'm expecting them to sign a left back. Like, no questions about it. But for right now, this is what I'm expecting going into game 2, is for them to have a better understanding of where the players need to be in that 2-2-2 format in between the midfield, the number 10s, and the strikers, because that's really what it mostly becomes when they're attacking. And more intensity, more directness, more intensity, more possession of the ball, because I didn't see that at Ipswich. Like, the team wasn't really able to combine anything, like, because they just didn't hold the ball, unfortunately.
It's gonna get better. Like you said, we're gonna suffer a lot before we get better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I like Amorim. He's extremely charismatic. He's vibing with the player. He's vibing with
young swagger.
You remember when I told you, like, he pulled up to Montclair?
Montclair wasn't Celine.
They said the same. They went to the overlap and they spoke. They were talking to Adam McCullough. McCullough was like, "Man, I seen this dude pull up with Nike trainers in a Montclair jacket to the practice facility." I was like, nah, that's my guy.
Yeah,
that's my manager.
That's my dude. All right, so let's move on to the last segment of the day. What's up with that? All right, so running it over, couple quick reactions, very quick reactions of subtopics. And Mike, whenever you're ready, please let me know and I can start.
Let's go.
All right, so first one for what's up with that is Di Maria surpasses Messi in the all-time most assists for the Champions League. So he's the second best right now with 41. One shot away from Ronaldo, that's 42.
My goat.
If you can't see Mike, Mike is saluting. He's saluting.
That's one of my top 3. That's like my top 3 favorite players of all time, man.
Yeah, great soccer
Love
player.
that guy. Love that guy.
He will be a legend also for Argentina because he stepped up. He stepped up when Argentina wasn't sure if they were gonna even win the Copa America with Messi. He stepped up next to Messi, and he was very important in the World Cup and the Copa America.
Legend.
Both Copa America they won actually. I don't know if the last one I'm not sure, but the first one it was very important. I think he scored in the finals too. So yeah, second one. Kolo Muani possible loan deal with Manchester United. Is that a good fit?
I mean,
anything right now.
Anyone that I don't know.
The thing is that he hasn't played. He's like he doesn't play. Is it a good? Because like you're looking for something, right? And then there's a guy that's coming now. Of course, he's gonna want to show people that he can still contribute, but also like he hasn't played, so there's a talk about confidence as well. But would you take him?
Yeah, I think he would be better than Xerxes,
Okay, so
100%.
he would be like
So,
behind
but
behind.
behind Hoyland, or maybe even in front of Hoyland, honestly. But that's
Okay.
the thing that I think come summertime they're gonna have to trim down the squad a little bit because now there are players that are out of position, like when it comes to or further down the depth.
The
It's like
pitch.
you're playing FIFA, you change your formation.
Mhm.
Now you suddenly have an excess in midfielders. It's like damn,
Yeah,
like the team needed midfielders now because they were playing with a midfield three. Now Amorim comes in and he's playing with technically a midfield two with the
yeah.
double pivot
A
of
compound, and then you have like the wing backs
yeah.
that are
So
here for
now
support
so
and stuff.
now you have an excess of midfielder because you have Ugarte,
Now
you
you need
have
wing backs.
Casemiro, you have Mainu, you have Collier, you have Bruno Fernandez that doesn't really fit that more forward role.
Yeah,
So now you got five guys like that
that four wall, like a guy like Wirtz would have been so good for Musiala.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then you have you don't want to bench Rashford, so you're playing him as the number 9. So now Hoyland is now on the bench and Xerxes is his understudy. So now you have three strikers now technically when you had only two with Hoyland being your number 9 and Xerxes being the backup. So
Yeah,
now if you bring Kolomwani in, I don't know if they could probably figure out a swap or loan Xerxes out, but yeah,
Xerxes might go to Juventus.
yeah. Please
All
do.
right.
You're suited for Italy. You're not good for the Premier League. I'm sorry.
Kipembe finally comes back to the squad list after 638 days, and basically we call it injury hell
Damn,
because
it's
he,
been
yeah. I
that
mean,
long.
I'm not sure if you ever seen the picture that he shared on the back of his foot. Like it
No,
was
I
not
didn't see.
good.
Damn.
I'll send it to you. So
Okay.
so he came back to the team sheet. He didn't play, but he came back. So yeah, man, I'm happy for him. That
Yeah.
could be like mentally like
That's two
draining though.
years. Yeah, that sounds like
Yeah,
what
he's
Shaw
been
went
out
through.
very like for 2 years basically, and then
Yeah.
now he's always like very like positive spirit still.
Mm.
Like he comes to the locker room and then to those stretch rooms, always
Mhm.
like like the life of the party and stuff like that. So he
Question
didn't
before
let
we
that.
move on that we're here. Is Skriniar did he
He's still
actually
there.
agree to a deal to go back to Italy, actually? For real?
I'm not sure. I don't
Okay.
have
All right.
that in
All right.
handy, so I'll have to look and give you guys an answer next pod. Emmanuel Petit says that Mbappe might be cursed. Might be cursed. Sorry. And he said like, yo, I know you guys don't believe. I do. I believe in those things. So basically he said he believed that he's cursed.
I mean, there's no reason not to believe it. I mean, I was watching the highlights of the game because I didn't get to watch the game because I was
Yeah.
at work and I had to do some extracurricular activities after work yesterday. Dude, he looks bad, man. It doesn't matter. Like now you're playing in your quote unquote preferred position. You're playing against Connor Bradley, who's not even the main the
The main
number
guy
the
for
first
that
choice
position.
the
Yeah.
first choice right back for Liverpool. And dude, it was just bad, man. It was just a bad performance. It's looking like a guy that's just like Rashford coming off his quote unquote Ballon d'Or season to where he is now. This is what I'm looking at. I was looking at the game
Yeah.
and it's like, yo,
Okay.
did this guy forget how to play
He
football?
said quote unquote Ballon d'Or season. Last one. James Harden surpasses Ray Allen and become the second best three-pointer made in NBA history.
Congratulations. At least 50% of those threes were travels.
All right.
I gotta hate. I gotta hate
You gotta hate,
sometimes.
yeah.
I gotta hate a little bit. But congratulations, man. That's no easy feat, man. That's no easy feat.
And yeah, it's not. That was all I had for today.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that was episode 91. Couple Europa games today. Enjoy it.
Yep. Can't
Are
wait.
you waiting for some food? Enjoy it. Watch a couple football games too.
Can't
NFL
wait for
also is playing.
145.
What did you say?
Can't wait for 145 to see what Manchester United gonna give me.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's a Lions playing with the Bears right now. They're leading 10-0. And later on today, the Giants playing the Cowboys. Two franchises are not really worthy of a game of Thanksgiving. So, and then later on at 8:20, there's a Dolphins vs Packers. That's a better game. So enjoy. There's so many games. So hope you guys enjoy it. And if there's anything we want to add before we close it.
No, man. Happy Thanksgiving. The Mavs are resurging. I'm really happy. Since
Okay.
Doncic
Whooped
has
the
been
Knicks
sitting
yesterday.
out. Yeah, since Doncic has been sitting, they've been winning games.
They've been winning games, bro.
I wonder why. Kid
Better defense.
he got to work on his body.
Yeah,
man.
you gotta at least. You remember the parallel when you used to make about like when Neymar is defending. It's like, bro, we don't care if you just put your body like shift your body or something. This is Lucas. Like he's not even shifting his body. He's like, okay, here's my body. I'm a cone. So yeah, like happy Thanksgiving, and thank you for everyone that's tuned in. We appreciate you guys. And this is episode 91, available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Thank you very much. See you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.